Shalom Aleichem Rabbi. We are in the week of Vayechi. Also, we are in the Parsha of the subject of Asara BTeves. This Thursday will be one of the 6 Tanesim of the year. You know, there's 6 Tanesim of the year. The way to remember them is black, white, man, woman, long, short. Black, white, man, woman, long, short. These are all the 6 Tanesim we have of the year. Black is Tisha B'Av and white is Yom Kippur. Man is Tzom Gedalia, day after Rosh Hashanah, and woman is Tanis Esther. Long is the longest daytime Tanis. That is in the summer, Shivos V'Tammuz. And the short is coming up this Thursday, called Asara BTeves, the shortest daytime fast. So this Thursday is Asara BTeves. And we're going to discuss the 10 questions and answers of Asara BTeves. You will find this on Torah anytime, just right there on my header. Print it. You can print this 1 or 2 pages. 2 pages, questions and answers of Asara BTeves. But before we start Asara BTeves, let's talk a few minutes about the Parsha of Vayechi, the last Parsha in Sefer Parshas. That means the 12th Parsha. That means from this Shabbos coming up, it was 12 weeks ago when we had Simchas Torah. That means 3 months ago. So let's talk about Vayechi. So Vayechi Yaakov, and Yaakov lived. The Eretz Mitzrayim, in the land of Mitzrayim, Shva Esrei Shana, 17 years. Vayehi Yemei Yaakov, and it was the days of Yaakov, Shnei Chayov, the years of his life, Sheva Shonim, 7 years, Vaboim, and 40, Umaas Shana, 147 years. Vayikru Yemei Yisrael, Lamus, and it got close, the days of Yisrael to die. How did he know? He didn't, but the Torah is telling you. But how does he know? V'yikra he called to his son, Yosef, the king of the country, and he's the only one that can do what Yaakov wants him to do. It said to him, if I have found favor in your eyes, all these years that I was down in Mitzrayim, they came at 130, and now he's going to be 147. All these years up to now, it's not yet 147, but getting there, he says, all these years you ask me, is there anything I can do for you? I never took any favors from the king. Now I have to ask you one thing that no other human being can do except you. If I found favor in your eyes, put your hand under my hip. That's the same thing that Avram told Eliezer. That's the way you swear in ancient times. When you swear, you hold on to a holy object. He's talking about his bris. And in the time of the Beis Hamikdash, when you swear, you put your right hand on a Sefer Torah. Yeah. And you use Hashem's name, Yud Kei Vav Kei. Or you put your hand on tefillin, says in Shulchan Aruch, or anything holy. That's when you swear with your life. It's a death, because if you don't keep your promise, it's a type of death from heaven. So Abram warned Eliezer not to take his son Yitzchak out of the country. Bring a girl from somewhere else, happened to be Laban's sister from Iraq, Padan Aram, to Eretz Canaan. He says, Shomer L'cho, watch yourself. This is a death threat, he told Eliezer. Same thing here. Yaakov is telling Yosef, put your hand, that's a euphemism, under my hip, like hold on to a holy object. And now in the Western world, the Goyim have adopted this, because when they swear, they put their hand on a Bible. That's how they got it. When they swear, they pick up their hand. Hashem says in the Torah, he says, Ani Yoram Yodi, Hashem swears somewhere to Moshe, I pick up my hand. That means there's nothing in your hand. I'm your friend. I'm swearing to do this and this and this. So when you swear, either you pick up your hand or you put it on a holy object. He says, what do you have to do? Put your hand, hold on to something holy. Vasisi imadi, and do me with me. Chesed ve'emes, kindness ve'emes. That is absolutely true because I can't pay you back. 4 words. This is what I want you to do. Al no sikvareni b'Mitzrayim. Do not bury me in Egypt. Al means low, backwards. No, please don't. Sikvareni b'Mitzrayim. Bury me in Egypt. V'shachafti im avosai. When I lie with my fathers, means when I die. When Sosani b'Mitzrayim, you will pick me up, take me out of Egypt. Ukvartani, and bury me, the Kvura, some in their Kvura, up in Eretz Canaan, at the Omaris HaMachpelah, where the 4 couples are buried. Adam and Chava, Abram and Sarah, Yitzchak and Rivka, Yaakov and Leah. Rachel has her own caver. And caver Rachel, a little bit away. Yomer Anochi Esakid Rachel, I will do what you said. Now you talk about it. Tzaddik Yesod Olam gives his word. I will do what you said. That was not good enough for Yaakov. You don't trust the tzaddik, the king of the country. Vayomer Hishavali, swear to me. Vayishavala, he swore to him, using God's name, Yudkei Vovkei. Vayishtachu Yisrael al Rosh Hamita. He bowed down to the head of his bed. He turned around to the pillow and bowed down to his pillow because the Shekhinah is above the head of a sick person. Or it could mean he bowed down to the head of his bed, which means to the head of the family. Yosef is now the head of the family. I know Yehuda is a melech. That's later. Yosef is the head of the family. He thanked Hashem that he was now in the Geisha country, but Yosef would do exactly what he wants. Now is the question. You don't trust Yosef, you make him swear. Now I'm going to tell you on the Mayan Beis HaSheva unbelievable thing. Says in last, why don't you trust him? Someone else, it says in the Gemara, an average person has to swear. Talmidei Chacham never have to swear for anything because their word is their bond. Why is not good enough? Why Yosef has to swear? You don't trust him? Says the Mayan Beis HaSheva at the end of last week's Parsha, the last few Pesukim, it says over there, says that they started to buy land, they started to feel comfortable there, and where is that? V'yei ochazu, but they started to buy land, right? Where is that? Where is that? Oh. Where is that? Vayechazu, where is that? Oh, right over here. They were in the land, and says Vayechazu. People translate that they started to buy real estate. The Mayan says doesn't mean that. Doesn't say Vayochazu, they bought land. It says Vayechazu, they were gripped by the land. They were being owned by the land. They were assimilating. Because after Yaakov came down, as soon as he came the same day, he told Pharaoh, when you go out, I'll give you a bracha. From this day on, the hunger will end, and the Nile will come up and overflow like it used to do before 2 years ago when the hunger started. There's 5 more years of hunger, they thought. And as soon as he goes out, the Nile will overflow, and all the ditches built along the Nile. The Nile is the 1,000-mile-long river, you know. There's 3 big rivers in the world: the Mississippi, the Nile, and the I think the
Euphrates.
Not the Euphrates. No, I think it was maybe the Amazon. 3 big rivers, but Mississippi is one of the biggest. Both are 1,000 miles. One is 1,005. One is 95, 950, 995. They're about 1,000 miles long. The Nile goes right through Africa, through Egypt and Africa. So he says, the Nile will overflow for you. It's not you or Avodah Zarah. That's nature. It'll go back to its nature. So now the hunger is over after they're there one day. So they can stay 6 more months till everything starts growing up back in the Canaan, and then they can come back and harvest 6 months. Why did they stay 210 years? Why do you stay and go back? I mean, the hunger was over. It's only 2 years. And then maybe it's going to come back. But after 5 years, why did they go back? They were being gripped by the land. Vayechi. They didn't buy land. Yeah, maybe they did, but that's not what the word means. That means they were gripped by the land. They were starting to assimilate. When they got out 210 years later, they were on the 49th level of Tumah. You can't go any further. Yeah, one more level, then you're done, you're finished. They were gripped by the land and they became excellent, as the Haggadah says, Mitsuyonim Sham. They were the best lawyers and doctors and businessmen, blue-collar workers and white-collar workers. They were the richest and the best and the smartest. Pharaoh couldn't take that. He says, we have to get rid of them. Every birth, they had 6 children. A man had 3 wives. He had 18 children in 1 year. And 2 years later, he had another 18 children. In 2 years, he had 36 children. I mean, they were overpowering the country. So the Pharaoh said, we have to get rid of them. So they were gripped by the land. Says the Mayan, Yaakov says to Yosef, you don't realize what I realize. You will be gripped by the land too. You will, soon after I die, you're going to lose some self-confidence. You may not bury me in Canaan. Pharaoh will threaten you. And this, no, he's a holy man. He stopped the hunger. We're going to deify him. He's going to stay right here, Yosef. He says, swear to me with your life, which means you have to give your life for this. When he swore, he started to tremble. Because if you don't keep your oath, you're dead, man. It's a death threat. It means you have to give your life, fight off Pharaoh, maybe even at the cost of your life to get me out of here. Just like at Har Sinai when they said, Nasav and Ishma, they swore. The whole mountain started to tremble. That means they're mortgaging their children to the end of time to die for Hashem's Torah. Even if they force you to do certain things, you have to die for Hashem. Yosef will be gripped by the land. Nobody will notice it, but no, Yosef will. And that's what happened. Look what it says here. That, but at the end of Vayigash, is now indicated by the first Rashi in Vayechi. Yaakov Eretz Mitzrayim. He lived in Mitzrayim 17 years, from 130 to 147, and all his life was 147. Yeah, it says in Rashi, Vayechi Yaakov. Yaakov lived. Lama Pasha Zu Stuma. Why is this Pasha Stuma, sealed? That means every Pasha in the Torah, when you get to the end, you have a space, and then another Pasha starts, right? Either it's a big space, the whole line, let's say finish writing the line here, the rest of the line is empty, you start the new Pasha on the second line. That's called Psucha, open. Or it's a little break, a little called Stuma, 8 letters width, and then you start the new subject. That means if it's a new subject, but not so new, it's only a Stuma, 6 or 8 letters, I think 8 or 9 letters. If it's a Psucha, it's a totally new subject. But that's symbolic for how you're supposed to write Parshas. But when these words come in the Torah, Stuma and Psucha, you see it in the Chumash, Samach or Samach, or Pei, that means a break. A break, Suma, sealed, and done, new subject. A break, a stop, a space. How come this Parsha is not like that? Lamazu Parsha Stuma has no break. When you look at the Sefer Torah, the difference between the last letter of Vayigash and the first letter of Vayechi is no space at all. Not the space of a word, only the space of a letter, like between two letters. Bereshis, Beis, Reish is a space. Vayomer, Vav, Yud is a space of one letter, that's all. How come there's no space at all from the end of Vayigash? No breaks, no psucha, no pstuma. You can't even notice it. You look in the Sefer Torah, you'll never find it unless you're a Balkor. Balkor knows where it is, certain many amount of lines down from the top. You'll never see it. It's sealed. Says the Mayan Beis HaShe'evon. That's the same way they sunk into assimilation. They didn't notice it. They never noticed it as they were being assimilated, just like in Spain, just like in Germany. We hope not in America. You slide in with the Gentile culture. You start celebrating some of their holidays. You make an excuse. You go to some of their social events. You make an excuse. You do what they do. You dress exactly like they do. You have all their hairstyles and everything exactly like a non-Jew. subtly, very slowly, you are sinking and becoming assimilated. Just like the Parsha V'yigash to Vayechi. There's no Lama Parshas Ustum. Why is it sealed? There's no break. Why is it? You don't. It's sealed. It's just like one pasuk. Look at what she says. Lama Parshas Ustum. Why is this a closed up parsha? No break. Everyone else has a break. This has no break. As soon as Yaakov died, their heart and their mind and their eyes were sealed. They're thinking, oh no, this big tzaddik is gone and we're so integrated in culture here. We're never going home. This land is extremely technologically advanced. The most richest monarchy in the world was Egypt. We're not going home. It's great down here. My brother is the king. Okay, so after he's not the king, we'll be ideal citizens. Remember, my brother stopped. Because of him, Pharaoh loved him. He made him up the prime minister, and our father stopped the hunger. They're going to remember us forever. Since the moment Yaakov died, the Fishakivan Sheniftar Yaakov, the moment he died, Nistgo and Nahum, their eyes were closed. They didn't really want to go back. Velibam shall Yisrael, from the hearts of Yisrael, Mitzvah says Shibud because of this Shibud, the slavery. Wait a minute, there was no slavery while Yaakov was Yosef was a melech, and even after he died, 32 years until Levi died. Then at the end started a little bit Shibud, a little bit of killing and murdering, and there was no slavery in the beginning. Well, where do you have this Shibud here? They started to enslave them. That's one part. Another explanation of this Davar Acher, Shabikish Legalis is the case. He wanted to tell them the day Mashiach is coming. Case, the end. The bottom, at least the man God said, no, you're not going to do it. As you see a little later, he looked at them, looked at them while he was lying on his deathbed. He looked at Reuben, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Zvulun, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Yosef, Yosef, and Yamin. He said to them, listen, boys, I wanted to tell you the end when Mashiach is coming, but I can't do it. I can't do it. Hashem took it away from me. I don't remember when it was. And maybe because I'm looking at your names, Reuben, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Zvulun, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, I don't see in your names a kuf and a tzadi. Spells case. Maybe that's the reason. We'll get there. But they said, Tati, you also find in our names a ches and a tes. Sin. We are clean. We did tshuva for every avay we ever did. There's no chet in our names, because chet you can spell without the aleph. Ches, tes. True. There's no kate and there's no chet. But Hashem doesn't want me to tell you the end. No Navi will tell you when Mashiach is coming. They say in Yiddish, die was weisen sorgen nicht. Die was sorgen weisen nicht. Those who know would never tell you. And those who tell you for sure don't know. Because it's a promise from Hashem to a Navi never to reveal the end. Never. Because if I know I have 50 years, I don't have to do tshuva. But I know it's coming tomorrow, I'm going to be forced to do tshuva because otherwise that's the end of me. So you're forced to do tshuva. That's not free choice. We want you to be a shomer Torah mitzvahs, even if Mashiach doesn't come for the next 500 years. We want you to do it because it's the right thing to do. One big God will said, even if there's no olam haba, no reward and punishment, I'll still be a from Jew. Because every other way to live your life is senseless. Of course there's a Mashiach, there's a reward and punishment. But he said, even if there wouldn't be reward and punishment, what? And life doesn't make any other sense unless you have an intellectual approach to Yahadis. Otherwise life makes no sense. You did all the pleasures, did all the things, so what do you do when you get older? Well, you've done everything. What is important to live for? If you don't understand that every bracha and every mitzvah and every Dvar Torah is connecting you with the Creator, a more exotic experience than that you cannot have. It's even more exciting than bungee jumping or jumping out of a helicopter, a plane without a parachute, and then open the parachute or some exotic thing that people do to give excitement to their boring life. That's why people go on all these cruises and all these things so many times and do many things and go here and see this. Why? Why? Life is boring otherwise. Unless you're a Torah Jew. If you're a Torah Jew, then never boring, ever. Life every morning is extremely exciting. So So, there's one man that noticed it. That was Yosef. How do you know, said the Mayan? Because father said, don't bury me in Mitzrayim. So as soon as he died, he should have gone to Pharaoh and said, listen, my father made me swear. I got to bury him in Canaan. Why did he go? It says a little further, he waited 40 days for Chanota embalming, which Chas v'Sholom they didn't do because you're not allowed to embalm it. But that's what they did in Egypt to all the holy men. So Yosef called his doctors, not embalmers, doctors to make believe they're embalming the father. That takes 40 days. Then 30 days of Avelus, that's 70 days. After 70 days, he comes, says the Medrash, to the Magadeles of Pharaoh, the hairdresser of the queen, and tells the hairdresser all the whole story. And she should tell the queen, get my father made me promise. And the queen should tell the king, why don't you go there yourself? You're number one man in the country. After the king, you're number one man. Why don't you walk in? Doesn't it say that no man can pick up his arm or his leg? If Yosef doesn't give permission, which means carry a weapon or ride a horse, unless Yosef gives permission, he's the prime minister. He runs the whole country. What happened to you? What happened to you in the last 70 days since your father was nifter? Says the Mayan Beis Sheva. Where is your self-confidence as a melech? He was begging the hairdresser, please, my father told me I have to bury him, and tells the queen, she could tell the king. What happened to you, Yosef? He noticed. He was the only man. No one else noticed the smooth transition from self-confident people to assimilation. It happens in every country like that. Happened in Spain. They were there for 500 years, and then that was the end of them. They said, get out by Tisha B'Av 1492, or we kill you. You're forced to convert. If you don't, we'll burn you in fire. Jews were in Germany for 150 years before Yamach Shemo. They were running everything in Germany. Everything. Arts, sciences, everything. Business, everything. Even in America, who financed the Revolutionary War? A Jew. What's his name? Chaim Solomon. Gave Washington the money. You slip in, you become part of society, you don't notice it. That's why Vayigash and Vayechi, it's not even a minute, there's no break. It's sasum, total sasum. Oh, be careful in America. Don't live too high profile and stick your wealth or your house or your clothes or your car in the face of the Umos Olam, because they can't handle that. They couldn't handle it in Spain. They couldn't handle it in Germany. And they certainly can't handle it here. And don't make it Chil Hashem by being even 1/1,000,000th dishonest. The Kiddush Hashem comes by being honest. There's so much Chil Hashem going on now from Eretz Yisrael, misguided people who think they talk in the name of Hashem. They talk in the name of the Satan. Shoyim Gemurim. The motive, they're totally wrong. You know what I'm talking about. Chilul Hashem she'en kamo. Yom Kippur and death does not take that away. You are doomed. And some people don't believe it. They think they're the tzaddikim upholding the Torah. They are crushing the Torah. A real tzaddik never did these horrible things. Never, never, never. Risha Yisrael. We had him in time in the second base of Mikdash too, the Bar Yonim. I don't have to go through the whole history. We'll do that Tisha B'Av. When we learn Gittin, Nun Vav, about the Bar Yonim. Anyhow, Kamsa Bar Kamsa, that Gemara. Anyhow, so this is the Mayans Chiddush. Only Yosef knows that. That's why the father made him swear. He says, you're going to lose self-confidence too. You don't know it, but I know it. And the Bnei Yisrael didn't notice it. He was slipping in. He became so weak, he had to ask the hairdresser, to ask the queen, he had to ask the king, what happened to you, Yosef, number one man? Because Yaakov Avinu was the tzaddik Yisod Ola. When he's gone, things are not the same. When a big tzaddik dies, it's not a good sign. It could be a sign that he's mechaper for the averos of other people, could be. Or could be that a very bad thing is going to happen. Right in 1933, when Yamach Shemo came to power in Germany, it's the same year the Chaim died, and the Kotzker Rebbe, the one represented the Hasidic world, one representing the Litvish world, and that's when Hitler came to power. There's no more front guard. We had a lot of SARS last year with Gedolim dying. We hope that the promotion of Torah in America, the honoring of Torah scholars, and the proliferation of Torah study in America will offset any Chilul Hashem. You know, this August 2nd or 3rd is going to be this 12th Siyam HaShas. Takes 7.5 years to learn Shas. It'll be the 12th year, some 85 years from 1923 or something. There are going to be 150,000 people in New York gathered to hear the Siyam HaShas. It's not a Kiddush Hashem. The last time, 7 years ago, 7 years ago, there was 100,000. Now it'll be 150,000. You know, you can. It's already. I got my ticket already. Otherwise, you're not getting in. 6 months from now, 8 months from now, August, 9 months from now, you better get your ticket. It's going to be the biggest demonstration since the Beis Hamikdash of Kiddush Hashem, where they daven Maariv, and 150,000 people say Amen, Yehei Shmei Rabon, Bavarach, Lolam, Omeil, Mayon, Shema Yisrael, and 5 minutes of silence in that stadium there, when they're doing Shemona Esrei. Bigger Kiddush Hashem than this does not exist. And those liars and traitors to Judaism called the Reform religion said that the Talmud, this is the celebration of the finishing the Talmud the 12th time, the Talmud is archaic, not attractive to enlightened man. And they won't be around long. The Bible is archaic, and the Talmud is ancient relics, not for enlightened men. That's what they said. You don't believe it? Why don't you look at the Pittsburgh platform of 1888 or 98 in Pittsburgh. That's the American Reform poison that killed more people than Hitler. They took them away from Avinu Shebashamayim. And now, 2012, 85 years I think it was, from 1923, is when it started, Daf Yomi. Last time they had 100,000, this time they figured 150,000. And all over the world, there'll be a simulcast between all the great cities of the world, 20, 30 cities, about the celebration of finishing Shas. That's right, 5,000 Amudim of Shas, 2,500 block. Each one has 2 sides. It ain't going away, and nor are we. They are finished and already ancient and antique, the Reform religion. It's zero, has no effect on any Jew at all. Nothing. Thousands of you are listening, came from there. No from boys go there. They only come from there to us, because they teach lies and distortion, like the New Testament. We teach the old Torah, no changes at all, and that'll be till the end. Because you see, the Reform rabbi's great-grandfather was also like us. He's the new boy on the block the last 250 years. And they made a big splash in the beginning to the uneducated. But after the war, when the Talmid Chachamim came here, the Rosh Yeshivas, the Hasidic Rebbes, they started to lose, and now they're bankrupt. Don't believe the numbers, how many members they have, because I have an inside person over there. It's not true. It's all fiction. They go to the temple 3 times a year. We go 3 times a day. And most of them are intermarried, and 64% of Reform rabbis are atheists. They don't believe in God. You don't believe it? Why don't you read up the history of Reform? I don't want to say even the word. It's not part of our religion. Now, the Reform Jews are my friends. I teach them. I love them. Their doctrine is sheker. The people are wonderful. My friends, I teach. They're all Baal Jews. The Reform Jews are wonderful people, and conservative Jews. The shita, the dogma is sheker. Total, complete check-up. Nothing to it that makes any sense. Once they say Torah is not min hashemayim, they're less than Christians, who say that there's a divinity to the Bible. They don't believe in that. So you'll say they did tshuva from the Pittsburgh platform in 1935, the Columbus platform. They said that the Pittsburgh platform was the original sin of the Reform. They changed it, and Columbus a little better. Okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. You see, but we're holding front stage now, 2012, not them. our yeshivas are jammed. In the little town in Muncie, New York, there's 85 shuls. A little town. During the week. Shabbos 125. It's not going away. It's not out of date. Let's continue here. Let's before we go any further, let's do Asara BTeves. The 10 questions of Asara BTeves coming up this Thursday, a fast day. Of the 6 Tanaisim we observe, which is the only one that we actually fast for on a Friday? Every time it comes out on a Friday, we push it off. If Tisha B'Av comes out on Shabbos, we push it to Sunday. If some fast days come down on Friday, we push it to Thursday. How come Asara BTeves is the only one we fast on Friday? You're not allowed to fast Erev Shabbos to make yourself hungry. You come in Friday night ravenous hungry. It's not a covenant for Shabbos. You come to a Shabbos meal ravenously hungry. So you push it off for covenant of Shabbos. How come not Asara BTeves? What does the following set of antonyms have to do with the fast days? Well, this you know. Black, white, man, woman, long, short. We told you that. Black, white, Tisha B'Av, Yom Kippur. A man, Som Gedalia, the day after Rosh Hashanah. White is Tanis Esther in the spring. Long is Shavuos B'Tammuz, the longest daytime fast. And the short, this week, Asara BTeves. What happened on Asara BTeves? The Shulchan Aruch in 550, chapter 550 says, if any of the 4 Tanaisim is associated with Churban Habayis, because of the 6, 4 of them have to do with the Churban Habayis. 2 of them have nothing to do with the Beis HaMikdash. One is Yom Kippur, that's nothing to do with it. And the Tanis Esther, that happened in Persia. Nothing to do with the Beis HaMikdash. So, it says in Siman Tov Kuf Nun, 550, if any of the 4 Tanaisim associated with Churban Habayis comes out on the Shabbos, they are postponed. Why is this not exactly true? Number 5, which Tanis cancels one of the Sheva Brachos days? Which Tanis cancels one of the Sheva Brachos days if you just got married? Which means you have to fast on your Sheva Brachos. Which Tanis is a Yom Tov? Which Tanis was a Yom Tov? Which Tanis will be a Yom Tov? Number 7. What is Bahab? Beis Hey Beis. What is Shovavim Tat? Shovavim Tat. What is Tanis Dibur? What is Tanis Chalom? And what is Yom Kippur Katan? Number 8. We only have 10 questions. Which Tanis is the weakest, halachically? It's only a minhag. It's not even a Isser D'Rabbanan. Not even minig or a mitzvah d'Rabbanan. Number 9. On which Tanis is there greater severity than Yom Kippur? Which Tanis is a greater severity than Yom Kippur? Which Tanis is there a greater severity in that day than Yom Kippur? And number 10. What other 2 tragedies happened on Teves? Bonus question. If Parshas Vayishlach, in Parshas Vayishlach it says, a few weeks ago, Al Kain, therefore, Lo Yochel Yisrael as Git Hanosha. The Jewish people shouldn't eat the sciatic nerve. Where in this pasuk do we find a remez to the 6 days a year you can't eat? Now go to question number 1. Of the 6 Tanaisim we observe, which is the only one that actually fasts before on a Friday? Asara BTeves. Why? Because the Navi says in Yecheskel 24:2, the Etzem Hayom Hazeh, on this day, which is Asara BTeves, which means on this self-same day, this day is not changeable. You have to fast on this day. We read the Torah at Mincha right before Shabbos, Friday afternoon. It happens very seldom, once in 20, 30 years. When you read the Torah on Friday afternoon before when you come to shul. And then you get back to Kabbalah Shabbos. Very seldom, where Asara BTeves comes out on a Friday. We read the Torah at Mincha right before Shabbos, Friday afternoon, which is very rare. We also fast on Yom Kippur on a Shabbos. And make a bris if either occurs on Shabbos. Even Yom Kippur occurs on Shabbos, or it's Shabbos and Shabbos, you make a bris. Why is it that you make a bris on Shabbos and violate Shabbos? We're not allowed to draw blood. And Yom Kippur is like Shabbos, you know. So why do you make a bris on Yom Kippur if it doesn't come out on Shabbos? Because all 3 of them, it says, Be'etzem Hayom Hazeh, Yom Kippur, you have to have fast on this day, even if it comes out on Shabbos. A bris you got to make on the 8th day, even if it comes out on Shabbos. That's why, because it says be'etzem hayom hazeh, and it says be'etzem hayom hazeh on Asara BTeves. You have to fast on Friday. And Yom Kippur, if it comes out on Shabbos, you got to fast. And if bris comes out on Shabbos, you got to fast. The last time it came out, Asara BTeves, on a Friday, was in 1996. And also in January 5th, 2001. About 9 years ago, 10 years ago. Next time, it'll be 12/17/2010. So it happened already 3 times. 96, and then 5 years later, January 5th, 01, and 2 years ago, December 17th, 2010. Interesting, right? So we have 96 to 01 is about 5 years, and then we have 01 to 10 is 9 years. Okay, once every 8 or 9 or 10 years. So Etzem Yom, that means that self-same day, and bris has to be on the 8th day regardless. Number 2. What does the following set of antonyms have to do with the fast days? We told you that. Black, white, Tishba, Yom Kippur, some Gedali, Tanis Esther, Shivas and Batamas, and Asara BTeves. Number 3. What happened to Asara BTeves? On this day, the 10th day of Teves, Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian king, began to siege of Yerushalayim. Began. At the time of the first base of Mikdash for 2.5 years. Earlier, his father, Sancheiriv, on the first night of Pesach, thought about attacking Yerushalayim, but he backed off. Because he said, they were on a hill there, the soldiers of Sancheiriv, overlooking Yerushalayim. He said, that little city, that's nothing. He waved his hand, let's go, we don't have to do it at night. Let's start in the morning after breakfast, we'll do it. That was the day he would have destroyed Yerushalayim, that day, but he put it off for 1 day. Time is very, very important. You know what happened that night? That was the first night of Pesach, by the way. He could have attacked. He would have won. But he decided to attack the next day. You know what happened that night? 185,000 soldiers of his, including invited guests and spectators, to watch the attack on Yerushalayim, died that night, never woke up. The next morning, all were struck dead by the Malach of us, slain by the hand of the Malach Gabriel. Only 5 survived: Sancheiriv and his 4 sons. Look at Malachim, Beis, Yutes, Lamed. Malachim 2:1935. His 4 sons. Him and his 4 sons. And he was to survive and become a ger. And then his 2 sons, and then he said, how come the Jews are so lucky? He said, they told him, once there was a man, Avraham, who didn't even withhold his son Yitzchak from Nakedo, and he wanted to kill him. But Hashem told him, last minute, don't do it. He said, if that's the case, I'm going to sacrifice my 2 sons. When they heard that, the 2 sons, they killed their father. Look at Malachim Beis, Yutes Lamed. Okay, number 4. The Shulchan Aruch says in Simon's Tov Kuf Nun 550, if any of the 4 Tanaisim associated with Churban Habayis come out on Shabbos, they are postponed. Why is this not exactly true? Because Asara BTeves could never come out on Shabbos. Yom Kippur is something else. But the 4 Tanaisim that have to do with the Churban, Yom Kippur has nothing to do with the Churban. Any of the 4 Tanaisim that come out with the Churban Bayis comes out on Shabbos is postponed. If it comes out on Friday, you fast, Asara BTeves. But on Shabbos, it's postponed. Why is it not true? Because Asara BTeves could never come out on Shabbos. Can't. Especially today, since we have a fixed calendar. Maybe in the days gone by when there was the Bezdin arbitrarily every month or every year decided when the year starts, and they figured out the whole calendar up front. Asara BTeves is the only fast day that can come out on a Friday, because we have a fixed calendar. But it's not exactly true because nowadays, because the Asara BTeves can never come out on Shabbos. Maybe when they have a normal calendar, not fixed, but Al Pi Sanhedrin, then maybe it could come out on Shabbos and postpone, but not on a Friday. 5. Which times cancels one of the Sheva of the days? Asara BTeves, because it says, Im lo ale es Yerushalayim arosh simchasi, or any of these 4. Any of the 4 Tanaisim, including Asara BTeves, it says if it comes out on your Sheva Brachas days, it cancels your Sheva Brachas. Why? Because this is higher. If I don't go to Yerushalayim, I'll rosh Simchasi when I'm very, very happy. Which means, even though I'm very happy, I just got married, but to remember Yerushalayim is more important. That's why at a wedding, they play that song. And some play the other thing, Shiamalas. Different than home. Number 6. Which Tanis is a Yom Tov? Yom Kippur. You say good Yom Tov, don't you? It's a Tanis, and it's a Shabbos. Because it's a Yom Tov, you can't do any of the malachas that you can do on Yom Tov, therefore it's Shabbos. But it's a Tanis altogether. And 3 things. So, which Tanis is a Yom Tov? Yom Kippur. Tisha B'Av, which Tanis was a Yom Tov during the second Beis HaMikdash, when they rebuilt the second Bayis. That's Tisha B'Av during the second Bayis. And which Yom Tov will be, what Tanis will be another Yom Tov? Tisha B'Av. Mashiach will come. That's going to be the biggest Yom Tov. Number 7. What is Bahab? Bahab. Oh boy. All are fast days. Bahab is the Monday, Thursday, and Monday on the month following, on the month that you had a Yom Tov. Pesach and Sukkot. Because there's 7 days, we have 8 days, but they have 7. And Sukkot is 8, Torah is 8 days, we have 9. But in those days when they met and socialized with people and maybe they got a little too chummy, too friendly, maybe they did things that weren't correct. So you fast on the Monday, Thursday, Monday, and the month after the month that you had, the first Monday, Thursday, Monday, and the month that you had these 2 of the 3 Yom Tovim. Shavuos has no Chalamoid, so you don't. Not many people come to Eretz Yisrael and Shavuos because they have no Chalamoid. But Pesach and Sukkot, the month after Pesach, after Nisan is Iyar. The month after Tishrei is Cheshvan, Bahab. Was this Shovavim Tat also a fast days? The Thursdays following the 8 Parshas of the Torah, starting with the letters Shovavim Tat. That means in next week. Shmos ve'erev bo b'shalav yisrael b'shvat and teruma tetzaveh. 8 weeks. You fast on the Thursday of those 8 weeks. Shovavim Tat. Shmos ve'erev bo b'shalav yisrael b'shvat and teruma tetzaveh. Some have a minhag to fast on the Monday, or Thursday, of those 8 weeks. Why? Because that's when we start talking about the enslavement of the Jewish people, and we want to show a little feeling for them, that they were enslaved very bad the last 86 years of the 210. 6C, Tanis Dibur. That's a Tanis anyone can put upon himself. A Tanis of speaking, not to speak. Because let's say you talk Lashon Hara, so it makes up his mind not to talk in the morning, the first 2 hours, just learning and davening. But can't say, don't talk to anybody. Or Friday night, not to say a word, just good Shabbos to people, and then don't schmooze until after Kiddush. Some people have Tanis Dibur, different times during the day, that they, for 1 hour, they don't speak anything but Torah and davening, but they can't talk anything else. It's for doing tshuva for Lashon Hara. What is Tanis Chalom? When you had a very bad Tanis. Let's say you had a very bad Tanis Friday, a very bad dream Friday night, so you fast all day Shabbos. The self-imposed fast for a very disturbing dream. It is a Shabbos day fast for a Friday night bad dream. And where's the Oneg Shabbos? That's his Oneg Shabbos. He doesn't feel good unless he fasts. He doesn't feel good unless he fasts. He doesn't feel good unless he fasts because he has no menucha otherwise. That's called Tanis Chalom. And Yom Kippur Katan, that's the day before every Rosh Chodesh. A monthly fast day on Erev Rosh Chodesh, except for Erev Rosh Chodesh Iyar, because of Nisan. You can't fast in Nisan, because you're not allowed to have any sad days in Nisan. You can't even have Yom Yerushalayim, because you can't have a fast day or a sad day in Nisan. And Erev Rosh Chodesh Teves, you can't do that last week, because that's the middle of Hanukkah. The Erev Rosh Chodesh is still in the middle of Hanukkah. You can't fast on Hanukkah. Number 8. Which Tanis is the weakest, halachically? Only a minhag. The best one is the Issa D'Oraisa, Yom Kippur. The other 4 are an Issa D'Rabbanan. Which is less than that? That's only a minhag. Which one? Tanis Esther. Because nothing ever happened on that day to the Jewish people. Yom Kippur, something else. That's about Moshe, Hashem, we were happy because Moshe came down with the second Meluchos. All the others talk about destruction of the Beis Hamikdash or sieging Yerushalayim for 2.5 years, Asara BTeves, and then the 3 when they broke into the walls on the Shivos of Tammuz, then took 3 weeks of fighting till Tisha B'Av, and then they killed the Gedali ben Achikam the day after Rosh Hashanah. But Tanis Esther, nothing ever happened. The Haman and his gang didn't kill us; we killed them. No Jews got killed. So nothing really bad happened. So therefore, it's the weakest of all the Tanasim. A person has a headache or something, he can eat on Tanis Esther. A pregnant woman, even if she feels a little weak, she can eat. But that's not the same thing on Yom Kippur or Tisha B'Av. She has to really ask the Rav and but not on the day like this. That's the weakest because nothing ever happened. So many of Yisrael to fast on if you break the minhag, you're not a sick person. You know what the minhag means, to turn the letters around, minhag, Gehenna. Once you break a minhag Yisrael for no reason, at the beginning stages of Gehenna, eventually you'll break little mitzvahs, then bigger mitzvahs, then real big mitzvahs. Maybe not you, maybe your children or your grandchildren. Once you break a minhag Yisrael, you're in bad shape. Lest there's a reason, but just arbitrarily it means you're a Russian, because you wouldn't go to Gehenna if you're a tzaddik. And Gehenna and minhag is the same letter, words. Which Tanis is there greater severity than Yom Kippur? Tisha B'Av, because you are allowed to cool yourself with a damn cloth on Yom Kippur if it's squeezed out already. But on Tisha B'Av, you have to be miserable, no pleasure. That's why you have to put rocks under your head when you sleep, or sleep on the floor and no pillow. You're supposed to be uncomfortable and miserable. There's no law like that on Yom Kippur. You just have to be fast, because you have to think of your soul, not your body. It's a yontif. Tisha B'Av is no yontif. Therefore, on Yom Kippur, Yom Kippur is very, very hot. You can have a wet cloth if it's cool, if you don't wring it out. If it's wringed out already, you can put it on your forehead. Tisha B'Av, you can't do that. You have to be uncomfortable. So now, of course, you're all thinking, can I sit in my air-conditioned house on Tisha B'Av? I'm married to a very big tzedekah. She won't use air conditioning on Tisha B'Av. She'll go outside. You have to decide that for yourself, how much feeling you have for those millions of Jews who got slaughtered in Tisha B'Av and the other Holocaust 50, 60 years ago. That Tisha B'Av represents all Jewish days of mourning. So you're not supposed to have pleasure on Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av, you have to sit low. You don't have to do it on Yom Kippur. On Tisha B'Av, Talmud Torah is Asr. That's not so in Yom Kippur. Number 10. What other 2 tragedies happened in Teves? On the 8th of Teves, the Greek translation of the Torah, Septuagint, Targum Shivim, the Targum of the 70 people for Tolmai HaMelech, he said, write this thing, all 70 were in different houses, and they all had to write the same Torah by memory. And so to write down Torah's Moshe, Rabbeichem, your Rebbe Moshe, write down the whole Torah by heart. And Hashem gave in their heart 13 places where you change the Torah, because this guy would not understand the euphemisms of the Torah. So he taught 13 places you have to change. And one of them was there are certain animals you can't eat because it only has one of the simonim of Taro. You know, kosher animals, Maligerim and Mafresas Paraso. And one of the animals that only have one, and there's only 5 of them in the whole Torah that ever were discovered that has one of the 2. And even them you cannot eat because it has to have 2 of 2, not 1 of 2. One of them was called Anevis, a rabbit. And they had to change it because, you see, Tolmai's wife was called Anevis. They didn't want to insult him. So Hashem put in their mind to change that and 12 other things. On the 8th, the Greek translation of the Torah, Septuagint, which means Targum Shivim. On the 9th, Ezra the scribe, who was like Moshe Rabbeinu in his generation, died. Look at Sof Megillus Tanis. On the 10th, Nehemiah died. Note, Ezra and Nehemiah built the second base of English. Now I want to tell you something that'll blow your mind. On the 9th, which is the day Ezra HaSofer was Nifter, it says, No leid Oso Ish, that man, Oso Ish, that man was born on the 9th day of Teves. Where do you see that? Get a sefer. Megillus Tanis, first sefer written after the Gemara. And at the end, 15 lines before the end, he goes through this discussion. And he says, Shomati, I heard, the Perish Onda, Megillus Tanis, that I heard that Oso Ish was born on the 9th day of Teves, which is a couple days ago. and that could come out the 25th of December. There's a big question about this, but Shemati, I heard this is written 2,000 years ago. I heard that man was born on the 9th day of Teves. Now we get to the last bonus question. In Parshas Yishlach it says, 2 weeks ago, Al Cain, when Yaakov was fighting with the angel, and he hit him on the side, and he dislocated the sciatic nerve called Gid HaNosha. Al Cain lo yochid midei Yisrael as Gid HaNosha. Therefore, Jews should need to Gid HaNosha. Don't eat. It's a simon for the 6 days of the year you can't eat. Why? Gid lo yochlu. In those letters, you have the 6 days you can't eat. What does that mean? No, I'm sorry. The word esgid. Lo yochlu esgid. The word esgid. Aleph Tov. Gimel Yud Dalet. New one is missing, right? The 6 days, the 5 letters. Esgid. Aleph Esther is the fast day of Esther. Tishba. Gid Gedalia. That's the day after Rosh Hashanah. Gid Yud, after Gimel's Yud, Yom Kippur. And Yud also means Asara BTeves, Yud. That's where you get the second Yud. Gid Dalid is Chodesh Revi, the 4th month. That's Tammuz, Sivos and Tammuz. And Gid, the word, the whole letter, Gimel Yud Dalid, is 17. That's Sivos and Tammuz. Or Dalid, the 4th month, that has in it the 17th day, but it's not so clear. So Gid is 17, and that means the 17th day of the 4th month. Okay, Rabbi said we are finished our shir for now, for this, a little bit of Vayechi and Asara BTeves. Have a good week, everybody, and we'll see you next week. And Yosef Hashem, maybe we'll make another shir this week on the rest of Vayechi. Sei gesund und stark.